know if you can see and hear me okay, and we'll get into it. I'm just looking down at my computer here so I can keep track of who's on the chat and all the comments. Mean Metal Mike, he's quick in there. That's what she said. Check out Easy Living by Uriah Heep. All right. I'm hearing a lot about this Uriah Heep. I don't know much, if anything, about this group at all. So I am looking forward to that whole thing. John Mark Waddell, the photo and the caption. Yeah, look, hey, I set up this chat last night. I was actually in bed. That's what she said. And I thought, I need to get back into the live videos. So if I schedule it, it's definitely going to happen. What's that saying? What gets managed what gets scheduled gets managed. There's some productivity quote like that. So I'm setting it up in bed last night before I go to sleep. And I thought, man, I haven't done a thumbnail for this. So I just did a silly one. Doesn't have much relevance to what we're talking about today. But honestly, I don't know if you guys have kept up with the news. Look, I don't know how much of New Zealand news gets out to the rest of the world. We are a tiny island nation of 5 million people in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, a long way from everything except water and sheep. It's a lot of sheep. We had what was called a once in a lifetime flood 2 weeks ago. I did a live video, like literally in the water with Connor. I mean, it was, although a lot of people suffered, it was actually quite fun, on that level, just to go out and just to see something that I've never seen in my life, and who knows, might never see anything like that again in my life. That video, I'm just looking here, that was 27th of January actually, so what's that? That's almost 3 weeks ago. Now, after that, so 2 weeks after that once in a lifetime flood, we had a cyclone. Huh? It was, I don't know if any of you guys are weather nerds out there, train spotting weather people. It was a category 3. Now, I don't know how much you know about cyclones. You might compare this to hurricanes. I don't know how hurricanes are categorized. But it was a category 3 tropical cyclone. And it's just absolutely insane. It was windy. There's some massive trees around here, massive trees down around here. But other than that, it was kind of windy. I think a few people lost their roofs around Auckland. It was, not too much carnage. It was a lot more heavy rain. But the rest of the country, some other spots, man, still without power. Some people sort of almost trapped and without food. And it's crazy. Weather updates with Rooney. So yeah, thoughts going out to those people. I've got friends who are stuck. Roads are completely destroyed. Some highways are destroyed. Yeah, it's crazy times. Anyway, that's my flooding and cyclone update, just to let you guys know what's going on here. So we have all these floods, and the sky is just black all day, and cyclone and craziness. And then the next day, literally the next day, I'm sweating, and it is 72 degrees Fahrenheit, very, very humid, and blue sky. Not a cloud in the sky. So there you go. All right, I'm going to get on to the chat. It's hard to just blab and keep up with this chat. All right, what do we got? Mike Osborne, I've been worried about you. Glad to see you still alive and kicking. Cheers, Mike. Mean Metal Mike, in terms of requesting reactions, not through the PayPal route, I'm just going to be really honest with you. I do prioritize those ones, and I mean, I've always got a little bit of a backlog of those that I'm trying to get to. I try and I have done. Don't get me wrong. This, people can get this misconstrued. I do plenty of non PayPal and non Patreon requests. It just depends what it is and whether I've got the time, and hopefully that makes sense, man. But people who are really jumping in and supporting the channel, I just have to prioritize their picks. That's just the way it is, and that's the way it's ended up after over 2 years of doing this now. That I love your ideas, man. Top 5 best pocket drummers: Phil Rudd, Meg White, Ringo Starr, Roger Taylor, and Nick Mason. Beautiful. I mean, it's a great idea. I'd love to do it. You know, that's my number one passion is the pocket drummer. So I mean, we'll do our best, man. And most of my covers are sort of pocket type covers. So, you know, I know you enjoyed the AC/DC one, right? But yeah, hopefully that answers your question, man. I'm not trying to dodge the question. I'm just trying to be real and be honest. There's a bit of a delay when I look at the screen. There's a bit of a delay to check the messages, and I don't know what I'm doing in that. Do some weird hand actions. Okay. Christopher Shapir, my man. We had tornado warnings in Nashville today. Fortunately, no tornadoes, probably a few in Alabama. Nothing anywhere as bad as what you had. Yeah, tornadoes, I don't think that happens here. I'm going to just Hail Mary, but a tornado, that's a bit of like a Midwest. Like you need to be inland for that weather phenomena. Is that right? I'm not sure. But I mean, we see footage of some of those crazy tornadoes that sweep through the states, and my God. I guess a cyclone is a similar type of thing, I guess. What else we got? Listen to this one. Peas Doc. I would love to see you do a cover of Sledgehammer by Peter Gabriel. Not a difficult song. That's a difficult song, but such a fun song to play. Here you go. I already have done a cover of it. I did a cover of it about, I don't know, 4 months ago. Now, this is an interesting one. Something funny happens with the YouTube algorithm. The blessed YouTube algorithm. If you mainly watch my reactions, you might be missing a lot of content, other content. Because if you watch reactions, then you know the algorithm's going to spit out more reactions for you, right? So if you just scroll back through my channel, just through all the videos, you'll find, you'll find the Sledgehammer cover of a while back. Honestly, not a difficult song. I would call that a very difficult song. Omar Hakim, one of the greatest drummers to ever have walked the earth on the track, and he's just got a very, not actually, it's not I wouldn't say an overly light swing, just a slight swing to it, like Phil Rudd, me Metal Mike. He's just got a slight swing to it. It's actually very, very hard to play it properly. All right. Let's keep it going here. Dormar. Enough New Zealand news gets out. It's rarely positive. Oh, hate to point that out though. Glad you've made it through all the BS. You and your family take care. See, that's interesting. I don't ever want to get into politics on this channel because, you know, half of you will hate me and half of you will love me. But, and in saying that, you know, I'm not even particularly political. I don't really care, you know. But every country gets their own propaganda, put it that way, at risk of having my channel taken down, I'll say that. Yeah. Every country within that country is told how amazing that country is, right? That's just the way it is. You even get this regurgitated, basically the same story. I mean, between Australia and New Zealand, we're actually quite different countries in a lot of ways. Australia is obviously a lot bigger. and a bigger economy. And we will hear a good news story about, oh, New Zealand's the only country that does this, and you know, this is all brilliant. And I listen to a few Australian podcasts, and it's interesting because you will get the exact same story from them, you know, putting them in this like a positive spin on their own thing, and then you're like, that's the exact same story I just heard about us. And then don't get me started on the top 10 cities. I mean, that's just a joke. You might have noticed and been very proud that your city was rated as the top city in blah, 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 blah. Yeah, that happens in every country. Anyway, I don't want to get into this. Politics, you're just going to get in trouble. Hello, Kim. Yes, we're okay. Thank you very much. Oh, very, very well said. E.T. Brew. Did you not also have an earthquake? So, once in a lifetime flood. I mean, this is a big, people getting evacuated. There were people, I mean, Kiwis are a certain breed. People were jet skiing through the streets, just for fun. Kayaking. In the cyclone, people were out surfing. Kiteboarding. Just, hey, cyclone, wind. Hey, let's do it. It's a little bit of a New Zealand thing. But yes, flooding, cyclone, and then we had an earthquake. I believe it was a 5.8 earthquake. So I'm in the North Island of New Zealand. So New Zealand it's not unlike the shape of Italy, I think, in a way. We've got the North Island, South Island, and within that North Island, Auckland's about there, and the earthquake is not very good. Auckland's about here, and the earthquake was sort of down here, and it was out in the ocean. It was a 5.8, and people felt it, you know, hundreds and thousands of kilometers away. I didn't feel it. Some people around Auckland did feel it. They said they felt it, at least. That's what she said. But no, I didn't. Poor New Zealand, you have cyclones, earthquakes, and whatnot, like being stuck in a session of SimCity. Wow. John Mark Waddell. Hey Andrew, it's been a few streams, but I'm back. Good to have you back, man. There's not a huge playbook for how I'm gonna run this live. I mean, you guys tell me. Do you like to make it conversational and read out comments, read out chat? I mean, it's fine. I have tried Q&As in the past or specific topics, and that goes well. Q&As tend to be a bit quiet. I find organic Q&A like this is probably the best way to do it. Just, you know, sort of as you think of stuff and as we talk, you might think, oh, hey, you know, what does he think of that? Or what's that like in New Zealand? I can do my best to tell you what that's like in New Zealand. Andrew, present. Hopefully you guys know what I'm referring to there. Flight of the Conchords. Hands up who loves Flight of the Conchords. All right. Robert McCambridge, drums. Cyclone was brutal. Managed to save the drums by a hair. Dude, I know I've asked you this, but whereabouts are you? Let me know. All right, let's keep going. Me Metal Mike. Hey Andrew, I'm on the autism spectrum and I play drums also. I've taught quite a few people that are autistic, and they're often very, very good drummers, very, very focused, and you know, just treat them and teach them like anyone else, and they tend to really listen really well and do very well. I've got one student who's basically getting, I mean, basically 100% in every drum exam he does. It's just quite incredible. So yeah, thank you for sharing that. Mean Metal Mike, what was the very first Beatles song you heard? Ringo's Fills. Ticket to Ride. Dun, da, dun, dun, da, da. And then he's got that. Dun, bra, dun, dun, ba, ba, boom. And then it changes. Listen to that song. Dun, bra, dun, dun, ba, ba. But then it goes. Dun, da, dun, boom, ba. Dun, da, dun, dun, bra, bra. And it changes. There's just variation within it. Absolutely stunning song and a stunning, simple drum part. Ringo, man. Don't underestimate Ringo. Christopher Shapiro, I had a meteorology class at university. A cyclone is a water-based tornado, if I recall correctly. Thank you, Christopher. Thank you for the coffee I am drinking. We have just... You'll be pleased to know, my man. This was the end of the bongo, and we've still got the other one, which is the frothy monkey, I believe it is. Beautiful coffee. Thank you so much, Christopher. I mean, really, really appreciate it and unexpected. Okay, Mean Metal Mike. Swing is so hard to dissect, to be honest, compared to fast-paced drumming. Well, yeah, fast-paced drumming doesn't have any of it. It might just have a really obvious swing, but degrees of swing, you need to be playing quite slow to explore those degrees of swing. Steve Jordan is the master of this. And then you get guys like Jim Keltner, Steve Gadd, who else? Oh, all the famous session drummers, Matt Chamberlain, Jeff Porcaro. They're the masters of dissecting at a granular level degrees of swing. That's why you might see a drummer going, oh my God, listen to the feel on the song. And you might just listen to it and go, what the hell's he talking about? It might be a really granular, small adjustment that the drummer's made in the degree of swing that's making the magic. Richard Forbes, as far as I'm concerned, both sides are as bad as each other. I think you're talking about the politics. Yeah, man, I look, I think this is what I'll say about politics. I think if you blame something else for where you are in your life or the hand you've been dealt, you're in trouble. I think ultimately it is up to you. And I don't think any country's perfect. Look, I've been to the States a bunch of times to work. I love the States. And obviously I've lived in New Zealand. I've traveled a little bit around Europe. And look, every country's got their good and bad things. It's not... I think it's not until you travel to a poor country that you think, oh, hold on. Like, these people have got nothing. Like, I might not have it that bad. And then you start to get perspective. And perspective and experience is not only a game changer in drumming, it's a game changer in life, I think. So, look, you guys have got the internet. If you're watching this chat, you might be on your phone, you might be on a laptop, or, I don't know, watching it on TV. I'm speaking to you through a phone, an iPhone, and I'm checking my laptop here. Look, we are lucky, all right? We're the lucky ones. I mean, there's a lot of people that don't have anything. So, yeah, that's all I'll say. That doesn't mean to say that everything should be excused and everything is just fine and it's just open slather to just do whatever. I think we need to maintain our standards, but I think overall, bit of gratitude goes a long way. Could you hear the anthem starting up? There's like crescendo anthem through that. I could like feel a flag flowing here. Andrew Rooney for president. Let's make it happen. Huge. It would be huge. Okay. Christopher Shapiro, Christchurch gets all the quakes, ? Yes. They get hammered with that stuff. Christchurch is a really nice place too. And they've done a huge rebuild down there. It's in the South Island, by the way. It's a long way from here. Yeah, really, really unfortunate. So it's a great place. I mean, I'd love to live there eventually. Let's keep it going. This is what happens, Christopher Shapiro. When you get me hyped up on coffee, I start doing like presidential speeches. It's just so easy to look at other people as being lucky, I think. Or, I want what that person's going. It's like, you don't know anything about that person. Just make the most of what you've got, you know? I don't know why I'm so fired up on this. Richard Forbes just lends itself to an argument. Typically, someone that comes in talking politics is looking to argue or get a rise out of you. Yes. Yes. And curiously, when it comes to politics, people tend to like the side that suits them. Isn't that convenient and funny? It's just the way it is. It's just the way it is, right? We've just got to make the best of it. Oh, here we go. Now, how do we say this handle? Dorma. Tornadoes are hard collisions, that's what she said, of hot and cold fronts over a plane. That's what she said. Flat type region, that's what she's... I don't know if this is legit cyclone advice or just a total setup. It's like just a softball lob for a big... That's what she said, out of the park. But thank you for that information. Oh, here we go. Peas Doc, do you accept Venmo? I don't even know what Venmo is. Or just PayPal. I think PayPal, yeah. I want to request a reaction to Harry Styles' cover of Sledgehammer live on the Howard Stern show. I'll just join the Patreon. I don't know why I haven't yet. Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, guaranteed requests. I have to keep it through PayPal. This is one thing that you have to understand. Hopefully this doesn't sound big-headed. Speaking of big-headed, that's what she said. I get like literally hundreds of requests a day. Instagram, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, all over the place. I just can't do them all. So I had to create a system of prioritizing them, of somehow prioritizing these picks. And bless all the Patreon and PayPal people, because they are so passionate to have made that donation to the channel, that the picks are absolutely brilliant. So it's worked out well. It's worked out very well for me. I'm not complaining. All right, let's keep it going. Hopefully that answered your question. Kim, I'm new to your channel, non-drummer and not a Patreon, but I've really enjoyed your reactions to El Estepario and Black Sabbath. That's great to hear. Then I saw the flooding Cyclone update and I just had to check in. If. Check in if. Oh, and then you're okay. Thank you so much, Kim. I'm very lucky. We're fine here. Our house didn't actually even get flooded. My studio where I teach and do my covers from, if you've watched my covers, they are that studio got flooded twice. Oh my god. In the flood, and then it got flooded again in the cyclone. So yeah, there's some real carnage out there. I mean, in the CBD, there's underground car parks that were full of cars. And these underground car parks, there's just a grill, door, and the whole car park was just completely underwater. Every single car in those car parks is a write-off. So yeah, the ramifications of this are huge. Robert McCambridge Drums, also based in Auckland, Glenfield. Sorry, man, you have told me that before. Apologies for that. Are we Facebook buddies? Hit me on Facebook, man. So you guys copped it pretty bad over there. I used to teach in Glenfield at the Music Education Centre. When I finished at music school, I taught there for a couple of years, I think, actually. let's keep it going. Please, no more political. Nothing that will set me off on a political rant. Richard Forbes, Ringo is a very underrated drummer. I'm way behind in the chat. He sure is. Peas Doc, I remember back in 2012, the Northeast USA got slammed by a hurricane. It's really strange when the next day is clear blue, sunny day, and you look around and you see all the destruction. Crazy. Yeah, it is very, very odd. I mean, it's hot today. There's blue sky. It's just... And, you know, you look around, there's pools of water in the grass, and it's strange. Peace Doc, I heard Ringo on a talk show explaining his drumming on that song. It all came down to him being left-handed, playing a right-hand set, and his timing is off and his rolls are backwards. Is that's come together, or are you talking about Ticket to Ride? Well, yeah, I think, yeah, he's known to be a lefty playing a right-hand setup, which is relatively common. But, yeah, it makes him unique. He's just a great drummer anyway. Oh, it was Ticket to Ride. Okay, that's awesome. Great info. Me Metal Mike. Why does Phil Rudd get so much stick? Real quick, because he's made a lot of money, he's incredibly famous, and he's in a world famous band. And that's the way it is. I mean, otherwise you just wouldn't listen to them, right? And you wouldn't think much more of it. I mean, I'm not particularly interested in, for example, the Kardashians. I got nothing against them. I just don't care. So I don't watch it. That's just the way it is. I mean, yeah. If anything gets that big and popular, it's gonna at some point be cool to not like it, right? Mike Cobb, sorry to join late. Glad you've not floated away. We'll go back and watch the beginning after. Good to have you here, Mike. Christopher Shapir, Prime Minister Rooney, coffee for all Kiwis. Free coffee. Coffee on me. Michael Paris, hello. I have a special request someday if I get wealthy. Man, that's a dig. You can tell me what it is. Yeah, I've explained this. It's a supply and demand thing. It would be great if I could just do everybody's pick. That would be not the awesome, perfect option, but it's just not possible. So, yeah, man. Richard Forbes. So long as I continue to learn on a daily basis, I'm happy with my life situation. Typically, I try not to worry about the next person and what they are or are not doing. I think that sort of happens too as you get older. I did a video the other day on Estepario Siberiano and how genuinely over the moon I am for him. It's an amazing achievement. 1 million subscribers. 1 million subscribers. Sharks with frickin' laser beams. Now, I could imagine someone, I could imagine someone being jealous of that 1 million. But I'm at a stage, I think, with my drumming and my life where I'm completely happy. I'm not jealous. I don't want to be him. I've worked hard enough on my drumming and on my career and playing. I've been playing professionally for decades. I don't want to be someone else. I just want to do my thing. And you know, my videos, you guys have watched my playing videos. I've got literally hundreds of them on the channel. They're nowhere near as spectacular as Estepario Siberiano. And how could they be? I don't want them to be. What I really enjoy is I probably more coming from a teacher position. Most people come to me to learn songs. And that's what I like, which makes me a pretty good teacher because I'm really into it. So my route with those covers that I do has ended up being note for note covers using the Drumeo transcription, following through that, and hopefully sharing a different type of passion for drumming. But yeah, it's just so strange that people want to be someone else. That's a very young person thing to do, not necessarily young in age, but young in experience and early on in the journey. You soon find that that's not a good route. If you had someone who came along and essentially tried to copy the El Estepario Siberiano formula, first problem they're going to have is they're going to be years behind his journey, right? And then when they get there, they're still not him. There's someone else trying to be him. And the audience is not dumb. The audience can see authenticity. I mean, you can't fake the funk when it comes to that stuff. You're either into what you're doing or you're not. And what he does doesn't motivate me personally on the drums. I love it. I find it inspiring that, man, that's crazy. Look what he's done one-handed. That's amazing. Beautiful, amazing. He's something completely different. I don't want to do that. I want to do this over here. Hopefully that's not sounding like sour grapes. It's the complete opposite. Yeah, I just think it's just incredible. And the interest he generates in drums. I get students because of him. This is probably the part that I might not have gotten across very well in my video. From my career and, paying my bills, I've gotten work and students because of him, because they've been so inspired to play the drums that, hey, I'm going to go hit up a local drum teacher. And so, I mean, I genuinely mean I'm very grateful for what he does in every sense of the word. And I'm just grateful people are talking about drumming and interested in drumming. A lot of people who watch him aren't even drummers. A lot of people who watch my channel are not even drummers. Just love drums or love music or love me. Yeah. Anyway, what? See, these are the bits I edit out on videos. And I've got a fly that just will not quit. Where's my chopsticks? All right, back to the chat. Michael Priest, you do note for note covers better than most on you. Not, I was going to say anyone, but you wrote most. Thank you, man. That's really kind. I do my best. I'm just a working drummer, man. All right, what else we got? Richard Forbes, I moved from Buffalo, New York, which is cold and basically without sun for 6 months. Moved to Florida, and the first year I was here was 2004. We had 3 or 4 hurricanes within weeks. It was hot and humid, 90 plus. Ouch. Michael Priest, I appreciate that people donate. I'm going to have to get the fly spray. Yeah, I mean, Michael, honestly, I not only appreciate it, I can't believe people are that passionate about the channel. It blows my mind, man. I feel an obligation to sort those people out and do their requests. What else we got? Sorry if I'm missing your message. I am scrolling and sometimes it'll just auto scroll, move up and... Michael Paris. I just want my body to do what my brain thinks. That's tough at high BPM. It sure is, man. Richard Forbes, practice until it's easy. Absolutely. Well, that's when you're going to sound good too. We call this headroom. Someone like Gavin Harrison, I'll always come back to someone like Gavin Harrison. He's got crazy headroom. So he can be playing, very difficult things in a completely relaxed state, and it sounds awesome. Vinny Colaiuta was the absolute wizard of this. Vinnie Colaiuta would play the most insane, bonkers drumming on a pop album. And the reason he could get away with it is because he's got such good headroom that it doesn't sound weird or crunchy or angular. You know, I might try and put something complicated into a song at a gig, and I might not quite have the headroom to execute it properly. And you know, if I do that and if I just kind of half-ass it, the band might look around and go, dude, just stick to the pocket, man. And that's when you know that it's probably more in terms of there's overplaying and then there's just simply not executing. Vinnie Colaiuta is a good example that you can play a lot. You can do what most people would consider overplaying, but no one's going to complain when it's Vinnie Colaiuta because it's going to be in the pocket and sound good. Anyway, next rant over. Oh no, I did a headroom, that's what she said. CD, I'm always down for a challenge. What challenge are we talking about? Claire Walsh, I'm learning to tap dance and have recently started learning tap percussion, i.e. emulating a drum set with my steps. Having so much fun with polyrhythms, etc. Do you have any experience with this? Boy, oh boy, I'll leave that to a live lesson. So we'll do one of these and we'll do a live lesson. So polyrhythm, poly meaning, you know, more than one, and rhythm, so we've got more than one rhythm working at the same time. I'd be really curious to see how that works with tap dancing. I believe Buddy Rich was a tap dancer, Steve Gadd. And then you get guys who are fantastic drummers like Sammy Davis Jr., who obviously are all about the dancing. It's a little bit of a lost art, isn't it? And actually getting, you know, different sounds and yeah, amazing. Michael Parise must mention Thomas Lang polyrhythm lessons for double bass feet. Right, nice. Claire Walsh, learn to tap polyrhythms to Kashmir. Nice. So Kashmir is a good example. I believe I did a cover of Kashmir, by the way. Have you guys seen it? Hopefully you guys have seen it. Every time I mention a cover, people are like, what? I've never seen you play the drums. There's hundreds of covers on my channel. So I believe in Kashmir, the riff, the guitar riff is in 3/4. I'm not going to be able to remember exactly the riff. My brain's going to want to turn it into 4/4. I believe the drum part is in 4/4 and the guitar part is in 3/4. Correct me if I'm wrong, guys. Richard, oh yeah, Claire Walsh. There we go. Guitar in 3, drums in 4. Yeah. Richard Forbes, 16 days with no power at 90 plus. Damn! We can tell you're not faking the funk, Andrew. I always appreciate everything you have to say in your videos. Thanks for just doing you, Andrew. It's much appreciated. Thank you. Thank you guys for watching. I might stop the video shortly, just because I do want to get back to, I've got videos to edit, reaction coming up tomorrow. Unusual intro on tomorrow's video. Just give you guys a little bit of a heads up on that. John Smith, I've been waiting for you to do a cover of Wipeout. Classic tune, man. I did include Wipeout and I played it on my greatest, what was that video called? It was Greatest Drum Intros. And I played it and included, well, at least the intro. Now, Wipeout is the classic song. If anybody ever doesn't understand accents, I often talk about accents on the channel. Wipeout is the basic song, the most obvious song to explain what accents are and why they're important. So, Wipeout is 16th notes on a tom. That is the rhythm. I'm going to play it slow. Should get my pad. Now, if you don't have accents in the pattern, you get this. So question, if there were no accents in the Wipeout drum pattern, would that song have been a hit? Absolutely not. Because the accents actually add in a melody. Compared to, that's just nothing. There's nothing happening there. That's just a subdivision of 16ths. So the accents are what make it jump out. This is not very good chest drumming, by the way, but hopefully you get my point. All about the accents. Accent being a emphasized note. Definitely not a note where you're trying to like bash the living hell out of a drum and destroy it. It's just a slightly emphasized note. Yeah, accents. Peas Doc, what is it like living in the future? It's Friday there, right? Yes, it is Friday. It's 1:13 p.m. on a Friday. I have to go pick up Connor from school in an hour and a half. He's finishing school. And then you know what? You guys know Connor, right? He's been on a few videos. He's my 8-year-old boy. We are going to start doing drum lessons. He actually, I have a policy of not forcing him, well, don't force him to do anything, but I never wanted to make him sit down and practice the drums, ever. And eventually, this is the way it works, they come to you. Hey, I want to learn drums. That's the way to do it. You need to instill a want in the other person. Right, what have we got here? E.T. Brew, really enjoyed your last Simple Minds cover. That one released this morning. That fill before the last la 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 section is incredible. Watch that part 20 times. Yes, what a fantastic drum part. Mel Gaynor, the drummer on that. You know, I was today years old when I realized that Simple Minds is a Scottish group. Huh? Did not know that. Mel Gaynor, the drummer on that track. Have a listen to that track. This is interesting, you know. This is where people get drums completely wrong. Don't You Forget About Me. Oh, that's an easy song. Really? Have a listen to it. Have a listen to where the open hi-hats are. 16th notes, you know, they're moving along. It's not crazy fast, but they're moving along. He's got open hi-hat little chirps on the E's and the R's. I missed a lot of them out. I mean, I was just basically doing a sight read through the chart. And I saw the open hi-hats on the E's and R's, and I thought, I'm kind of playing these songs how I would sort of read them at a gig. And if I see something like that coming up where I think, ooh, might happen, might not, just I left it out. Full disclosure, I'm only going to tell you guys. I'm not going to tell anyone else. So I slightly simplified that drum part, and even then, you'll see that there's 32nd notes on the hi-hats. Flourishes on the hi-hats, and some really quite challenging single kick 16ths in different places on the bass drum. It is not a simple song. I mean, easy just to you know, you could just cover band it out, but to actually play it like he's playing on the recording, wow, it's a great drum part. HKS Man 05. Hey bro, are you in an affected area from the flood? What are you talking about? Flood, cyclone, or earthquake? yeah, the flooding was mental, man. But cyclone relatively mild where we are, where we're living at least. Earthquake didn't feel it. Peastock, my son is also 8. I think I'm going to start showing, teaching, playing guitar with him. That's a great thing to do. Or you just have it around the house, and they'll see what you're passionate about and what you like doing and what sounds good, and they learn. I remember when Connor was very young, and I think I was doing online lessons during a lockdown, and he had never seen me playing drums at home that much because I don't normally play drums around the house a lot. And I was teaching a song with a shuffle. I can't remember what it was. Anyway, I was in the room and I'm teaching this shuffle song to a student, and Connor was obviously around and he was hearing this shuffle. And at that point, I would get off the drums and he would jump on. Jumped on straight away, no training, no me telling you to jump on, this is how to play a shuffle. He saw me playing a shuffle, heard me playing a shuffle, jumps on, plays a shuffle. Great. Learning by osmosis, man. This is why people who grow up in musical households have got such a big advantage. And this is sort of the root of the talent myth. Oh, that guy's talented. Well, how do we know? He might have been hearing and seeing how drums or guitar or bass or keyboard works from birth. I know some really musical families where basically the family is like a family band. And kids get born into that, and it's just normal and natural to play an instrument. And not only that, you know how all the instruments work because you're seeing it every day. You get athletes the same, kids whose parents are tennis players or golfers or rugby or whatever, football. And they've got that big advantage. Not to say you cannot get there from a cold start. My parents weren't musical at all. We didn't have instruments in the house. So you definitely still can do that, but it's a big advantage. It's a big advantage. But like everything, it just depends, because sometimes, and I've seen this with students who are very good and what seemingly seems like naturally good, probably because they've been around instruments for 15 years. Sometimes they're so good easily without a lot of effort that they don't put in the work. So there is the flip side of that, is that it came too easy. And I don't need to learn how to read because I can already play, man. I can already play, man. Why do I need to learn how to read? It's like, yeah, but you want to be a professional musician and you can't read? Jeepers, man. Yes, it's possible. Yes, there are rock stars who can't read. Don't base your musical career and outlook on outliers and what other people do. Do what you do. How on earth are you going to try and become a professional musician without reading? Yeah, it just doesn't work like that. I mean, you're limiting yourself from so much work. Why am I getting so fired up again? Political chat with Rooney. All right. Oh, so Dan Brockstein, like Yoyoka's family, right? I believe her whole family is musical. Is that right? And just having all that equipment around and it being normal. It's just normal for some people. All right. Hey, guys, I am going to have to go. We've been going for about 50 minutes. My coffee is lukewarm. Bongo. Thank you, Christopher Shabir. Hope you enjoy this chat, guys. I think I will start making this a weekly thing again now that Connor's back at school and we've got some semblance of schedule going in the house again. Fingers crossed, no more. What else can we have? Flooding, cyclone, earthquake, volcano? Touch wood. Don't want to tempt fate. How many volcanoes have we got in Auckland, by the way? This is going to blow your mind. So I live in Auckland, right? It's the biggest city. Asteroid. Nice. I live in Auckland, which is the biggest city in New Zealand. 1.5 million people here. Just having a look here. There are approximately 53 volcanoes in Auckland. The city of Auckland is built on a volcanic field. There are 50 volcanoes within an area of 1,000 square kilometers. There you go. Touch wood. Touch wood. Whew, why did I even bring that up? Anyway. Yeah, I am going to have to go do some practice and get ready to pick up Connor and get my day going. Guys, thank you so much for joining in. You are going to love tomorrow's video. Trust me, it's going to be a goodie. All right. Thank you so much for all the support, guys. Take care. Ciao.